Right, we're past the halfway point in January, of course. Are you one of those people that loudly and proudly declared that you're going to do dry January? I'm definitely not, but are you one of them? It all got me kind of thinking, Emma, because you have all these kind of 1 year no beer and Stocktober and dry January and all these kind of initiatives everywhere to try and stop us drinking. Do you think we have a problem with alcohol in this country?
So I'm going to be really open and honest here. I haven't had a drink for a year and a half. And that was because I had an awful lot of drink a year and a half ago. And leading up to that point, I definitely had a problem. I intend to try and reintroduce alcohol slowly into my life this year. I said I'd go 2 Christmases and 2 birthdays without. But I got to a point where I had to stop. And what I've noticed over the last year and a half is how socially awkward it is not to have a drink. Not in my terms, I mean, I'm quite sociable, I can talk to both of you, we've never met before and we've been chatting away in the breaks. More that everywhere you go, a glass of wine is handed to you almost automatically. There are so many things that you just don't think about it. That I'm given alcohol at, and I just think, why am I having a glass of wine at the theatre when wine makes me sleepy and sitting in a dark room makes me sleepy and what I want to do is concentrate on the stage? I think we don't think nearly enough about all of the ways in which alcohol just completely permeates our culture. Now, I'm not a ban-it-all person. I'm not a person who would want to deny anybody else a good time, and I hope that they can have a good time without getting to the state I got myself in. But I do think we need to maybe just all take personal conception of why do I need a drink at this point? And do I need it or do I want it? And those are 2 different things. I think we need to make it easier to not drink without making it harder to do anything you want to in terms of your own body.
I think it's never been easier to not drink, actually.
I think it is easier than it used to be, definitely, yeah. But it's still everywhere. And I promise you, I know this because I'm not taking the glasses that are shoved towards me.
Yeah, I've got to say, I've spoken about this before anyway. I did unfortunately wind up in AA, actually, Jacqueline, a few years ago, and I have an interesting relationship with alcohol. It's something that I have to take great care to consider and be mindful about because alcohol is not great for a lot of people, I don't think, and I do regard alcohol as a bit of a liquid depressant. It's a social lubricant, but too much of it is indeed, in my mind anyway, a liquid depressant. And I do think it's a shame, actually, when I see just how much of everything with social engagement, interaction, is underpinned by booze. It's great if you can just have one drink and off you pop, but a lot of people can't.
Well, I quite agree, and the funny thing is, all the years I was in the airline industry, from when I was quite young, I never drank. And I never drank because, for any particular reason, I didn't particularly like it that much. Or if I did, I'd have a sip. I was working in an industry which is safety critical. So, obviously, there were strict rules about when you could drink, if you were away, and all of this sort of stuff. And I just found that I didn't have great alcohol tolerance. I think when I was a teenager, I'd tried a few drinks, and you get people and they sort of have about 10 drinks. I'd have about 1 and didn't really feel that great. And it's only been for me, probably about the last 20 years. I actually used to smoke. And, if somebody had said to me they're going to ban cigarettes or alcohol, at the time I would have said, well, you've got to ban alcohol because I was a smoker. Well, I chose to stop. A number of years ago, and I don't regret that. I'm not censorious at all about people who smoked or drank or whatever. I think we have to take our own personal responsibility. But it was hard, Emma, when people used to say to me, you're having a drink, this is years ago, and I'd say, no, I'll just have an apple juice or something. Oh, no, have a gin and tonic. Well, I don't want a gin and tonic. And you do have to actually stand there and sort of say, no, well, you're not going to enjoy yourself unless you have a drink. Well, I'm having a great time, actually, and I didn't need one. So now I enjoy a gin and tonic. And I think what we just need to do sometimes in this country, because we do have a slightly different culture, because I've lived in other countries, is enjoy the drink that you have. When you sit down, everything's in moderation, even people that still smoke, maybe. Enjoy what you do. Enjoy your food. Enjoy that drink that you have with it. And, of course, we all went out on a Saturday night and people had a few. And I've seen people who've turned into Jekyll and Hydes
Well, unfortunately,
which
there's
is
a lot
not
of
great.
people.
So I just think it's not an easy subject, and
It's not an easy subject.
It's not an easy subject.
The key thing is, you say about enjoy yourself and all the rest of it. Unfortunately, for many people, alcohol has gone beyond the point of enjoyment and it's gone to the point of need.
Yeah.
And that is when really you need to have a word with yourself. And it's not an easy thing to do. I asked you on Twitter, by the way, do you think us Brits have a drinking problem? 56.6% of you said no. The other 43.4% of you lied. And said yes. No, in fact, actually, I got that the other way around. The other way around. Anyway, I think a lot of people do indeed have a problem. If you do, there's so much help available to you, and it takes bravery and guts to ask for help.